If you're a frequent flyer here on Profit Guru, then you know that I talk a lot about outsourcing anywhere that you can. Once you're really trying to grow your business, it just becomes impossible to do everything you need to do. So one of the first things that I tell people to do once they're ready and they have their systems and procedures down is to get a good virtual assistant. The main reason why I use mine is for sourcing. Sourcing and finding good products to sell on Amazon is key to making money on Amazon FBA. But the problem is sourcing can take a long time to do. So I get a lot of questions from people on where I found my virtual assistants and how exactly I went about the process of finding them and then hiring them. So today I want to walk you guys through exactly what I did in order to find my 3 virtual assistants who are actually doing a really good job. So hopefully if you're ready to find your own, you'll know exactly how to get one.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Barney with Profit Guru. I'm a teacher, mother of 3, and Amazon FBA seller. Here at Profit Guru, we're dedicated to trying strategies out and continually improving our own software to help other Amazon sellers just like you.
So a really great place to go to find your virtual assistant is going to be onlinejobs.ph. Now, I'll tell you, I did try other platforms first, like Fiverr, and the quality is just not there. So I would definitely recommend you just come here right out of the gate. Now, you'll notice that they do have a few different versions for their plans, and there is a free plan, but you're not going to be able to hire workers through this plan or communicate with them. So you're not going to be able to send messages. So to do this method of hiring, it is going to cost you $69 monthly. But once you hire your virtual assistants, you can just cancel your account. So all in all, post your job and you're going to find a virtual assistant within the first month. So it's going to cost you $69. Then you can just cancel. Now, when you come up here to the top, type in what skill you're looking for. We'll search for virtual assistant. What I really like about this website is you're going to get a lot of details about this person and things like their ID proof score. So this tells you with certainty that they are who they say they are. And obviously you're going to want a higher score. The higher, the better. Now, when you click into a person, then you'll get even more information on what they're expecting too. So I can see that this person, it's a customer service representative, but they've been verified. So they are who they say they are. They have a good ID score. Come down here, they are available for up to 40 hours a week, and they are looking at $3.94 US dollars per hour. You'll get their experience, and then just a lot of different information on them. You're going to want to see how good their English is. This girl even has her IQ on there. So there's a lot that you can see about these people. Now, if you come down, they'll give you ratings. They rated themselves on these skills so that you can see how capable they are in each different sub area. So I can see looking at this really quick, she gives herself 5 stars. She's really confident with blogging and with creative writing. So this is something I'd want to look at too when I'm looking at a candidate to see, do they have the skills? Do they think they possess the skills that I'm looking for? So looking through, putting in different job positions and looking through for people, this is something free that you can do. But if it's someone that you're interested in, it's not going to allow you to message them. So that's when you'll actually have to pay that $69 to set up your account. Now, when you do that, the first thing you can also do is post a job. And this is what I did. So down here, you want to be as specific as possible. The job title, if you're looking for a virtual assistant, this is what I put in, virtual assistant, Amazon arbitrage sourcing. I wanted them part-time, but you could do full-time or a freelancer. And then you would describe the job a little better here so they would know what it really entails. The wage and salary, what you were thinking of, I think I put in $200 a month. But then once you get to the interview with somebody, with the candidate that you choose, that's something that you'll want to talk about in the interview. And we'll talk about that more, exactly what questions I asked the candidates in the interview. Now, this is that ID proof. The lower the score, the better chance that maybe they're not who they say they are. So you're going to want to get a pretty good score here to make sure that they are actually who they say they are. So I think I did bump it to the 70. Now down here, you can choose the 3 main skills you're looking for, primary skills for them. And then the next thing that you do is give them an application task. So in there, I tell them that in order to qualify, the first thing you need to do is this task for me. So let me bring you to my task that I shared with all of them. So if you were planning on taking the Fiverr route, a little tip, something you could do to make sure you're getting somebody of high quality, somebody that's paying attention to fine details, because that's what you want with your assistant who's going to be sourcing for you. They need to be able to pay attention to every small little detail. Things like the dimensions on the box and the quantities, making sure that everything matches. So what I did on Fiverr when I posted a job for free, which didn't land me any success finding a good candidate, but I put in there that when they emailed me, in the subject of the email, they had to put their favorite color. So this was listed way down in the job description for them to apply. So that told me right off the bat if they even took the time to read the entire job summary before submitting to it. Because if they didn't, now I know that that's somebody that's rushing and they're probably not going to pay attention to those little details that I need them to pay attention to. So that's just a little tip there. So what I did is posted just this right here that you're looking at. I said, thank you for the interest in my job. To go on to the next round in the interview, please complete the following task. So I wanted them to take the time to make me a customized Excel sheet and then to find me some leads that met the exact parameters that I gave them. Now, the reason why I did this is because there are a ton of people who are looking for virtual assistant jobs, and a lot of them are pretty lazy. So what they do is they have a sourcing sheet that they made, and they'll just send this to every single person. I mean, they might be sending this to 50 people a day just to try to find a job. So I wanted to find someone who I knew was completely dedicated to this position. If they weren't going to take the time to create a new Excel sheet and put all of these different areas on the sheet and then find me my own personal leads, I didn't want them to use a sheet that they already had made from last month. That's too easy. I wanted to see who was going to go above and beyond, take that extra step and put in that little bit of work to prove to me that they are somebody who is going to be a good fit for my virtual assistant. So it was really easy to weed people out. You are going to get a ton of hits on your job. You really are. As soon as you post it, it's just going to be bam, 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 people coming through trying to apply. So you really need something really big like this that is going to set people apart, because you could get hundreds of people. So you're not going to want to waste time interviewing all 100. This is the first thing that you need to do. So have them do a task for you. They had to have all of this on that sheet they made for me. So I was looking to make sure that there was a category row, that there was something for the gross profit. I wanted to see the ROI for each item and so on and so forth. I had to have all of it in order to go on to the next round. I wanted to see how closely they're paying attention to details. Then I asked them to find 3 good product leads that fit the following criteria and put them in the Excel sheet that they made for me. It didn't have to be Excel. It could also be a Google sheet, so either or. So the lead had to be at least 30% ROI, nothing over £4. The profit had to be $4. It had to be in the first 1 to 2% in its category. I want them to be able to find me products that are selling fast, not things that are just maybe selling a few boxes a month. I'm not going to make money selling those items. Now, this is important here. I wanted to make sure that they were not finding me things that I couldn't sell. So hazmat, fragile things, pesticides, clothing, it's super easy to find a ton of generic clothing that's selling. So that's something common that they'll put on there. So I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see that they could source some harder products to find. I also need to have on that sheet the link that brings me to Amazon to show me the product and the link from the store that they're sourcing it from. So I can pull both of those up and compare them side by side to make sure that it's the same product. And then number 2, so that I know where to purchase the product from. Because I got lists that they sent me the item on Amazon and then they never told me where I could buy it from. I'm like, okay, now I know that this product sells, but I don't want to have to go search it now myself. So put on that sheet where I am buying it from so I can just click and purchase. And then I also limited them to categories. So at the bottom, if you complete this task completely as described, the last stage of the interview process will be a virtual live meeting with me. So up here in my messages, in your message box, this is where you will see every time somebody submits to apply for your job. And these 19 that you see, I did not just get 19 hits on this job. These are 19 that I did not open because I had already found my virtual assistants. They come in so fast. So this is how you'll vet them and know who to interview next. You'll pull up the sourcing sheet that they sent you and then check the columns. Make sure they put everything that you wanted. If I opened it up and I noticed that it was just a sheet, they didn't follow the direction at all, it just had whatever they wanted on it, nope, on to the next. They didn't follow the directions. So this is how you're going to make sure that you're going to find yourself a good virtual assistant, because they're not all created equal. Now, at the end of the video, we'll talk about when I did choose the people who completed the task, what I asked them during the interview. But first, I want to show you the SOPs that I gave them once they were hired. I had them keep working off of that same Excel sheet that they made me for the task. Maybe they needed to modify it a little. I told them exactly what I wanted modified. But then the first sheet of that Excel sheet or the Google sheet that they're making for the leads, I put this SOP so that they would not forget exactly my criteria that I'm looking for, so that they're sourcing within products that I actually want to purchase. So after I hired them and we worked out exactly what they needed to do each week, I put that there. They were all committed to doing 5 days a week and a minimum of 8 products a day. So the spreadsheet had to have all of that. I made sure that was on there, which was basically what they put on for the task anyways. But also this is good to have because I'm sometimes finding people at random that I didn't expect to hire another virtual assistant, but I'll find them somewhere and they look like they have good leads. So then I'll throw them the sheet. So it's good to have one of these ready. And then the exact criteria that you're looking for. So I don't want it to be less than 40% ROI. It has to be in the small tier. The profit has to be at least $4, so that there's no reason for them to throw me a lead that I don't want. It needs to be in this criteria. And then down here, I even gave them some ideas of some stores that I personally like to purchase from that are easy for me to buy from.
Now, once you have your candidates that you want to interview, what I did was I set up a Zoom meeting with them. Zoom is super user-friendly and easy to use, so that's why I chose that platform. Now, what I did is I wanted to ask them some specific questions to gauge, number one, how experienced they were with sourcing and how fast they could source. So the first thing that I do when I get on the call is ask them how long they've been doing this. Once they tell me how much time they've invested into it, how much experience they have, then I want to know what type of sourcing methods do they use. Because if you have your systems down and you want them to copy your systems and procedures exactly, it might entail doing some extra training. You might need to do some more videos with them one-on-one to show them exactly how you want it done. But if your person that you're interviewing seems pretty like they know what they're doing with sourcing, that's going to save you a ton of time. So I like to know exactly what methods do they have in their back pocket to find products. Are they using tactical arbitrage? Are they familiar with the software at all? That was something big I was looking for. I wanted somebody who knew at least like the premise of how to use tactical arbitrage to help speed up their sourcing for them. Are they doing manual sourcing? Are they going in stores and doing retail arbitrage? So those are one of the first things you're going to want to find out when you're conducting the interview. How long have they been doing it and what methods do they use? The next thing I want to know and that I ask them is, why are you looking for a job right now? What happened to your last job? Because if they're really that amazing of a virtual assistant, why don't they already have a job? So I want to know what happened, why they're seeking out me now and they lost or maybe they moved on from their last job. And in most cases, what I'm finding is most of the virtual assistants are saying that they don't have a job anymore because the last virtual assistant position they had, that Amazon seller stopped selling on Amazon, which is legit. You know, if a seller decides to stop selling, then they're not going to need the virtual assistant anymore. So you're going to want to find out, why are they free? Why are they available? And then that kind of leads into the next question of asking them about their loyalty. Now, you're not going to want a virtual assistant who is being a virtual assistant for 10 other sellers, because chances are they're probably just going to be sharing all of those leads across all of the sellers they're working for. So you're going to want to find out if this virtual assistant is willing to be loyal to just you alone and make sure that those leads that they're producing, that you're paying them for, are just coming back to you. The next thing I want to know is, how do they plan on communicating with me? We're going to need to be communicating back and forth as I'm checking their leads list. So what I'm finding is most of them like to use the WhatsApp or the Telegraph app. Some of them also are on Facebook, so that could be a means of communication for them as well.
But you're gonna wanna find that out. What's the best way for you to communicate with them so that you can make sure that there's open communication whenever they need to ask you something or whenever you need to ask them something. And another thing that we need to talk about towards the end, if everything was looking good, is the pay. What are they expecting for a fair pay, and how are they expecting to be paid? Are we using Venmo? Are we using PayPal? Where are we conducting the transaction? Now, what I'm finding for fair pay is about 2,500 pesos for a part-time position. So 2,500 pesos works out to be about $50 US. So that seems like a really fair price. Really, if you're expecting them to produce you about 8 leads a day, then that works out for you to be paying $1.25 per lead. So if you're looking for a really good virtual assistant, make sure that you follow an outline similar to this one so that you're really vetting the people that you're choosing from, because there are a ton of people out there looking for virtual assistant positions and they are not all created equal. So you want to find somebody who is going to be loyal to you, who's a fast sourcer, who's a confident sourcer, who has a ton of methods in their back pocket, and somebody who's going to have really good open communication with you. So if things need to change on your end, if you're like, hey, I noticed you're not really in the top 2%, I need you to be looking at the bestseller rank a little better. Or maybe I don't want you in home and kitchen this week, I want you to be doing toys this week. It's important that it's going to be somebody who you can communicate with on a daily basis. So these are really the top points that worked for me in finding a virtual assistant. And I hope if you're ready to outsource some work, which is going to help you grow your business substantially, that you're able to use these tips to find yourself a really good virtual assistant as well. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.